Okay folks, I wanted to take a small video here. This is the fruit set for my day avocado tree. So what you're seeing here is the fruits of roughly 3 years worth of labor. So I bought these trees about 3 years ago, and I've been tending to them all this time and fertilizing them, taking care of them. And I'll tell you, it didn't come easy, but this year is the first year that I got a fruit set. Last year I got flowering, but I did not get a fruit set. I don't know what happened. I think it might have been because we had a cold spell late in spring, or early spring, late winter, and I think the flowers might have just succumbed to that and they fell off. But this year we didn't get that cold spell, and as you can see, we have flowers. Sorry, we have fruit, or fruitlets. Let me just pan out a little bit here so you can see the size of this tree. It's not a very big tree. The avocados are known for being precocious bearers. They do not grow very large, and yet they bear fruit, significant fruit. So this tree itself, only one branch, one fork of the tree actually flowered this year. And let me zoom out a bit so you can see. Let me adjust the camera here. Let me move the tripod back because I'm too close to the tree to be able to get a full-scale graphic of the size of this thing. So you can see it's not a very big tree. Just for reference, in the background, that post that you're seeing there is about 6 feet above ground. That white post with those birdhouses. So this tree is not even 6 feet tall yet. It's a little bit smaller than the top of that post. I know it's 6 feet because the post itself is 8 feet. I buried it 2 feet in the ground and put those trees up, or put those birdhouses up earlier in the season. So you can see it's actually a lot of bottom branches there that actually have flowered and fruited this year. Right there. Autofocus is a bit messed up. Let me see if I can adjust that. Yeah, there it is. It's pretty neat, actually. There you have it. Little fruitlets. These are day avocados. Anyway, let me zoom out and I'll give you another picture of another avocado tree. That one in the background there, that bigger one, that is a Brogdon avocado. And it also set fruit this year, surprisingly enough. It's bigger than the other one. It's a little bit above 6 feet tall. It was also bigger when I first purchased it anyway. But this is actually a very pretty tree. It's got beautiful colors in it. Right now, it's actually putting out new leaves. It's also got some fruit sets. Let me get closer to it and show you some of that video. Hang on. It's not as densely packed with fruit as the day is, so it's not as precocious a bearer as the day is, but then again, it's a bigger tree and it's got more avocado spread out around a bigger area, so it might just have as much avocado fruits as the day, just spread out over a larger area. So let me just zoom in on a set of fruits here. Excuse me, hang on. Let me get the manual focus. See that? Those little avocados, see right there, a small one. Hold on, the wind is moving it out of the plane of focus. Let me zoom in. There it is. That is a little Brogdon avocado. I'm having problems with the focusing and the wind here. You know, when you zoom in, any kind of slight movement of the branch is amplified in the frame, or in the field of view. So you can see that's a little Brogdon avocado. It's got a few of them in a number of places. There's some others there. Let me adjust the zoom, adjust the focus. I'm having trouble with the focus on this camera. Let me dismount it from the tripod because this is getting really difficult. I think I'm having an easier time if I handle it by hand. Of course, I can't. I'm going to adjust it so it does its autofocus. I don't have to mess with it. So there's another one there. Little guy right there, if you can see him. I don't know if you can see him. Let me see if I can zoom in on him. Where'd he go? Okay, so I'm actually looking, I'm zooming in on the wrong image here. Yeah, I got a problem here with this light. Part of the reason why I wanted to film today is because we don't have strong sunlight right now. It's actually filtered through clouds. I thought that would be better, but it turns out that it's not. So, I mean, you can probably see that it has a few avocados spread out. Every time I go up into the sky, it causes problems for me because it throws it throws the exposure off for the camera. It messes around with the sensor. Here's another one. So you see it right there? There's another avocado. There's another one there. And there are a couple of them are spread around the tree. These are little fruits. These are little flowers that were pollinated. And what's interesting about this avocado is that the flower gets this brown. Yeah, this is what happened to some of the flowers. They just fall off. See that little piece right there? That's what happens to some of them. But they get that brown, crusty cover. After they've been pollinated, they close up and they get brown. And then that tissue eventually dies and falls away. And then it exposes the little fruitlet. And that's what's happening all around this tree. All around the avocado tree. So like I said, it doesn't look as densely populated, as densely packed with fruit as the other one. But it's misleading because this is a bigger tree. And it has it spread out over a larger area. So I do believe this actually has more fruit than the day. Significantly more fruit. Let me see if I can get a better clip on some of this stuff. You can see some there. Let me change the focus here. You might be able to see it. Kind of hard for me to see it because I'm looking at a viewfinder. I am not looking through a viewfinder. I'm actually looking through one of those little side panels, glass panels that comes with the Handycam, and it doesn't have very good exposure. Oops. I'm trying to change the density filter here. Oops. And the filter's off. There it is. It's back on. So let me just get around the thing here. So you can see some more there. See it? The little flowers. The little tissue around the when the flower is pollinated, it closes up. A little tissue dies on the tip of it, and then it falls away and it exposes the fruitlet. You can see some of that right there. Pretty neat. Oh, cool. There you go. That's pretty neat. So that's what's happening all around this tree. And this has been a long time coming, actually, because man, I'll tell you, I've worked hard to maintain these trees for 3 years. For pollinate them, protect them, spray them. And this is the first time that I think they've actually rewarded me for that effort. When I was a kid, I grew up in South Florida. Back in the 70s, I remember we had mangoes and avocado trees. Those were common in South Florida when I was growing up. This was probably 75, 76, 77. And we had fruit all year round. Well, not all year round, but you know, during the seasons, we would get a lot of big, nice, fresh avocados from our trees in the backyard. So it's kind of something I wanted to reproduce in this house. I purchased this house in 2013. This lot, it came with a half-acre lot, which is pretty big by, you know, based on what I'm accustomed to. May not be very large for what most people who are into agriculture are used to. But for me, this is a big lot. and I decided to do high density planting and take advantage of the lot because I had all this space here and it wasn't really doing anything, and I decided I might as well just use it for something useful. So I grow some crops, some fruit trees, which I tend to like a lot. Let me just give you a view of my orchard. So you can see that is a view down one of the rows of the orchard. There's my dog back in the left there. He's just lazy. Today is kind of a slow day. I'm on vacation this week, by the way. Yes, this is what I do for my vacation. I just chill out at home and work in my garden. I find it to be very therapeutic and relaxing. Anyway, you can see down a row of trees. Mostly what I have here are apples, pears. I have a lot of stone fruit now. I have a lot of peaches, a lot of plums, I have one nectarine. I do have some citrus, although citrus in Florida is becoming rarer and rarer because of the diseases, specifically the citrus greening or Huang Long Bing disease, which is the worst one I've ever seen in my life. That particular disease will probably wipe out the crop in the entire state of Florida in the next decade or so. They're looking for, I think they've already found trees that are resistant to it, and they found rootstock that's resistant to it, but it takes about 20 years, for all those millions of acres of citrus to be, what do you call that, cycled out, those old existing trees, and replanted with new ones, and for them to grow and bear fruit, So that takes an awful long time. And because of the monoculture orchard practices in Florida, in most of the country actually, you'll probably find some other disease will show up and start attacking those trees as well. So the whole cycle will repeat itself eventually in the next 50 years. But you can see that I have a variety of trees. I have some apricots, although I'll tell you the apricots have been very difficult. I don't think I've gotten more than one fruit ever from them, and that one was not even very good because it was the tree was too young. What the problem with apricots is that the flower is so delicate. I mean, you touch it even a little bit wrong and it'll fall off. It's such a delicate flower that it just doesn't stick around long enough to get pollinated and set fruit. You're lucky if you get anything from an apricot. It's kind of rare. They say you can't grow apricots except in the deserts. Well, this is not a desert, but you can grow it. Doesn't mean it'll set fruit though. Let me show you something else actually. I'm a little impressed with this. Let me go move the tree over there. Move the camera over there. So, I have quinces in my yard. Quince is a type of fruit. It's a pomme, P-O-M-M-E type of fruit. The same family as pears and apples, only it's hard as a rock, and it doesn't really soften on the tree. Doesn't really ripen on the tree. And if you can see, I don't know if you can, but that's actually a little quince right there. That right there, that's a little quince fruit. That was a flower that this Vandeman quince put out this year, and I don't remember pollinating it with anything. They're self-pollinating, so I think what happened is just some insect probably was on the flower and pollinated it by accident. It hasn't fallen off yet, which is good. So I'm hoping that this will grow and turn into a quince fruit. The tree is a third-year tree, second year in my yard. It's a Vandeman quince. Let me show you. This is one of the Luther Burbanks varieties, actually. There's the sticker on it. This came from trees of antiquity. Vandeman. Hold on. Oh, bummer. Can't get the thing to... Let me see if I can get it to display properly. I'm having problems with the autofocus as usual. When is that not giving me a problem? There it is. Vandeman quince. See it? So that is what that type of fruit is. It's not considered... Some people say it's the best to grow. I don't know that for a fact. I have heard on the internet and into several... I think it was in Washington State did a agricultural study, and they confirmed that the best quince to grow is a Russian variety called Aromatnaya, and I do have that quince here as well. In fact, it's right behind me. Let me point the camera at it, rotate around. That right there is an aromatnaya quince. There it is. Pretty precocious little tree, actually. I mean, I planted it. It was just, it came as just a stick, and man, it just, about 2 or 3 days after I planted it, a week after I planted it, it sprouted all kinds of leaves, all kinds of new growth. So it's a very precocious growing tree. I have high hopes for it. In fact, I'm so impressed with it that I'm going to buy another one next year. And I'm going to put it in that little space right there. You can see there's some space there, that in a clearing between all the little grouping of trees. That is what I call stone fruit alley. These are all stone fruits here, either apricots, peaches, or plums. And I'm going to drop another aromatnaya there next year when I get I have to place the order in October and get it next spring. That right there, that one right there, that is another quince. That is a New Smyrna quince. It's a variety that comes from Turkey, although I didn't buy it from Turkey, obviously. I bought it from same place I bought all my other quince and apples. I got it from Trees of Antiquity in Paso Robles, California. By the way, they're good. They're a good fruit tree vendor. So if you want fruit trees for your garden, you should check out Trees of Antiquity. I don't think you'll be disappointed in them. They're a little more expensive than the others, but they do sell you a good quality product. Anyway, so you can see another row there. That's my orchard ladder off in the distance. It's a tripod ladder. It is a Stokes brand 8-foot orchard ladder. I have a 13-foot one as well, but that's such a big ladder that it's kind of ungainly and hard to handle and move around. I use it now for climbing up there on those plums trees, those Santa Rosa plums off in the distance. I don't have a whole lot of use beyond that right now. I anticipated though that as my trees grow, I will have more need of it. As you can see, I've packed everything really close in, probably 6 to 8 feet maybe on average. I see average spacing between the trees, so I can't let them grow out wide as much. So I intend to let them grow up high, a little taller, and I would expect probably 12-15 feet and keep them 8 to 10 feet wide. So I do expect that they will be touching each other, the trees, which is, for me, it's not a problem. I don't care. But we'll see how it goes. If I put a lot of trees in this garden, and there's a good chance that I probably will lose some trees, and that's part of the reason why I put so many, because I didn't expect all of them to survive, and I've lost a few. There's just normal, there's always attrition in any endeavor that you engage in, and this one's no different. So I expect to lose probably 10%, 15%, maybe 20% of what I planted here. And as I lose those trees and the others grow, I'll decide whether I want to put another one in there or not. But for right now, I'm pretty satisfied with the setup. I just have to wait now for about 5 or 6 years to see how everything gets established and what the growth patterns are and what I need to do. Either remove trees or add more trees or what, I don't know yet. I might find that a variety that I thought I'd like, I really don't like, and I just might uproot it, who knows, or give it away to one of my colleagues. I have a friend of mine who lives in this area who's also into gardening fruit trees. I know I've already given him a couple apples that I didn't want anymore, so I might do that with him as well. I might just give him these extra varieties that I don't like, if there are any. Alright, I think that's it. That does it for today. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.